This is the Ride1up Portola that I purchased from the website here, and I'm designing a spare battery, secondary battery pack to put onto this bike. And so after searching on Aliexpress, I found it. It's a Reention Rhino at the 362.5 millimeter version. Other versions won't work. It has to be this exact size, otherwise it will not fit. And so I decided to build this because I wanted to save some money and get some practice, make a video, just a whole bunch of reasons. Here is the battery on the Portola website. If you were to buy it brand new, it might be worth it for you to have an extra battery pack for emergencies or extended long distances, but it is quite expensive. I have some spare Sanyo 3.5 amp hour 18650 cells I salvaged from an EUC battery pack. So this is a 13S 4P configuration. It's got a wavy type configuration, so you have to use some wavy nickel strips, which are available on Ali as well. Or you can make your own, but making your own will take a while to do that. And so I'm just doing some planning here, trying to figure out what's the best way of setting this thing up to work properly and testing the rigidity of the cells. One thing that's missing is the insulation discs on the front, so I'm going to be adding them in a second here. I'm just removing the frame, and then I'll be adding the nickel strips, sorry, the insulation discs in about a second here. Here's a nickel strip that I'll be using. I just got a small 3-meter roll of this 0.15 pure nickel wavy zigzag strip that'll work with this particular battery frame, because it goes around in a wave here, or it goes like this. Like that. So just pre-cut a whole bunch of these series. These are series connections, and then I'll cut them in half to create the positive and negative terminals, and I'll just double it up. So I'll just cut a couple here on camera. Here I am. I'm going to start the spot welding process. Just going to get the spot welder set up. So I'm just going to hook up the foot pedal. Let's see there. Actually, I got some more space here. Let's go this way. Hook up the battery. Okay, so after a little bit of planning and playing around with the nickel strips here, I found the proper configuration, or the best configuration for this particular battery. I've decided to have the negative on this side here on the other side, and then These are all connected in series, and I bent a little bit of the nickel up top so I don't have to. I can put the BMS wires to one of these particular pieces of nickel strip, bending over the top so it doesn't. I'm trying to prevent a lot of squishing of the wires on the sides and just isolating it to the top here. Try to fit in between these two cells here, and that should make it relatively safe from a lot of wire pinching with the shrink wrap and the fish paper. So I think I'm gonna go like this, and then take the BMS, and the battery minus is here, so I'm gonna probably have it oriented like this. Or if I can mount it to the side, I would, but it's a bit tall. Might not fit properly. So I'll keep it like this. And then put some tape. And then have the charge minus come out from here all the way to here. Or I was thinking of putting some fish paper here, wiring, running a piece of nickel strip, goes up to the center here, makes like an L. Or is that a good idea about it? I'm not sure. No, it's because the BMS is right here. If I put it there, then that's gonna kind of interfere with that. I wonder how they do it in the Portola and the other batteries with the BMS wiring. Okay, so I think I've settled on a configuration for the BMS. I think I'm going to have it oriented like this, so it's close to the B minus. So it'll just go like this. And then all the BMS wires will be sitting in the middle here. Okay, and then some will just go straight up like this, only a few. Go like this, and then all the other ones, I guess we'll just go like this. I try not to make as much crisscrossing as I can. I'll try not to. Let's have it go like this. There's some space at the top. Let's have each one go like this. This. Will look relatively good. And then this one, go like this. See how it. That looks like it's pretty good. Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to do one spot weld as I test these out or put these on, and then I will double it up at the very end off camera. But for now, on camera, I'll just do one. Nothing's connected on the other side. If the other side was connected, I would be covering these up and being double, triple checking everything. Because yeah, you don't want to be hooking up this the wrong way. Okay, so for the end leads of the positive and the negative terminal, I've decided to use 2 layers of this wavy PCB on top of each other. And on the top layer, I'm going to have this extended bit here that will hang on the edge and then bend over, and that will be where the solder of the leads go for the BMS wire as well as the main power wire lead. So I'm going to start by welding this one on top here while it's on a piece of wood. Okay. This is 0.2 millimeter. I'm going to have it up here. Should be long enough, hopefully. Doesn't have to be super long. It just needs to be aligned with that black spot that I have there. You can see that or not. Right here. I'm just going to give it. Okay, so I finished welding one side and I labeled everything on top of here with some markings or some numbers so I know which cell they are. And here is the final weld of the negative, or sorry, the positive terminal. I kind of messed up the nickel stripping here, but I'll learn for the next time. But I doubled it up. I put 2 layers here and I added three or 4 welds just for extra current transfer. Okay, so now this battery is considered live. I'm going to be more careful and isolate terminals and tape things off because it'll be a bad day if you get things wrong. And you got to make sure you're at the right terminals and stuff as well. So I labeled the positive here and the negative here. And I'm basically going to work right to left. And I'm also going to cover all the cells here like this. So it's safe to work on. Okay, so I got my safety glasses on and I've pre-cut the remaining strips like this. Okay, so I have 6 more rows to go. I will hyperlapse these after this one. I just want to get one video of me doing it here. Okay, so here we go. Double check. But every time I do a weld here or a row or a set of series, I will double check to make sure everything is good. I mean, if it was bad, there would be sparks or fire by now, but no, this is all good. So yes, you gotta be cognizant on every single weld here because the battery is welded on the other side. And what I'll do for this one is I'm just gonna do just random, but only one weld on each cell. And then, but I'll do the complete weld though before I move on because I have to tape everything off. Okay, so this one I need to sort of push down. That's good enough. Okay. Okay, so I just finished welding the pack here. Let's just unwrap everything and take a look and see how well I did. Doubled the nickel strip on the end here. Okay, the welds there seem good. And these are all good. Okay. And these are all good. Now just quickly check the voltage. Can you see that? 53.4. That's good. Check to here. 41, 32, 24, 16, 8.2. Okay. Now it's just some minor and safety fish taping. I'll do one on the positive terminal here. Also got to make sure I bend everything downwards. I'll use a plastic spatula for that off camera, but I'll bend all these sharp corners down so that's flat. And then I'll put more isolation here. That's pretty much it. So off camera, I'll just wrap this section with fish paper. And then I'll start filming the BMS wires. Okay, so wiring the BMS for this particular battery case in the Reention Rhino. It's a little difficult because of the tight, narrow space and the fact that it's an all metal case body. So I looked at the previous one that was made by the company. They had the BMS on one edge, and then the wires run up top and then soldered in. But my BMS here doesn't, I don't think will work. It's a little too tall for the little gap that's at the top of the battery case. So I have to mount it like this. And then in order to run the wires as neat as possible, because most of the gap is at top and I don't want any pressure being put on the bottom because it is going on an e-bike. I want to put all the wiring at the top here. So gravity doesn't always put a lot of pressure on it. And then I'll put lots of fish paper and separation between everything there. So I'm going to mount it like this. And then I'm going to do as best I can to cleanly wrap these here and run the wires so that they try not to pinch. And then I'm going to put some foam up top here. And then I'm also going to run the main BMS wire. Main BMS negative wire, battery negative wire goes to here. It's a very short connection. And then from the charge minus or the P minus, I'm going to run it on this side. And then down here and then over here. I'm going to add some more fish paper here for insulation and protection. And then it's going to connect to the back of the battery here. And then that's where I'm going to make the leads here. I'm not sure if, I think I'll try and see if I can fuse it. Or if not, I'll just use just regular wire temporarily. And then and then order some fuses for later on. I won't be using this battery immediately anyways. So yeah, that's my plan. I better use some Captain tape for this. Okay, so I've organized this painstakingly as much as possible to prevent crisscross overlap along the wires here because of such a narrow space up top. The only available space to really put the slack, as well as the crisscrossing is right here, but there's a bit of a gap here in the battery frame, which gives me some leeway, flexibility to put it there. So I'm just going to test the cells quickly here, or test the leads, make sure that they're in the correct position before I tape this up completely. So put this here. There you go, 45. Okay, so the BMS is wired correctly. All right, so it's just a matter of Captain taping this and or just taping it with FRP tape, fiberglass reinforced tape. All right, so okay, it's starting to look a bit better. I'm just gonna, I won't tape it down just yet.